Hello fellow old schoolers, and welcome to the next iteration of the Pegasus Cup 2020. This is the part 5 of the show. What we're about to see here is the tail end of the Swiss of this particular tournament, and we're going slightly into the spiky territory here, as both of these players we're about to see, they have some pretty vicious decks. The Pegasus Cups was just a random get-together with a few play groups in the country, and most of the rules here are similar to the Swedish format, with a slightly more inclusive in terms of what cards you can play with. You can play with Revised and Collector's Edition and 4th Edition, stuff like that. There also were the changes to the Pegasus, the 1/1 flying creature with a banding, that it can be played during with 2 colorless mana instead of a white and colorless. There are prizes here just for winning the tournament, for being the most drunk, and for having the most spicy brew, for doing the first kill with the Mesa Pegasus, and for doing the most damage overall over the entire tournament with Mesa Pegasi. And as all colors can play the Mesa Pegasus, there's like this theme where you're trying to get as many people as possible to play a lot of horses. And this particular deck, the first one we're going to see here, has done so. So did I in a previous game we saw from this tournament, where I've included 4 Mesa Pegasus in the deck. And yeah, I'm kind of rivaling this guy in order to who do the most damage overall in the tournament. And this, we see his deck here is the classical blue and white Aggro-Control with a black splash for Demonic 2-turn Mind Twist. We also see that he has exchanged all the 7 Alliance for Mesa Pegasi here. This makes a deck much more like a Skies variant, where every creature flies. So he has put in the moat in the sideboard, so he can like transform into a Skies if he's against an aggro deck with a lot of ground forces. We have the 4 Swords of Plowshares and the 2 Sonic Blasts, full counter package with mana drain, 4 counter spells and 2 power sinks here. It's a very, very strong deck. Besides, of course, it doesn't make it stronger to take the 7 Alliance out and put Mesa Pegasus in, but it's still very, very good. It will tank with the best of them. It's no coincidence, I think, that almost the entire top 8 of the last NoobCon tournament were decks like this, like the Zoo, Fantasy Zoo variant, or this particular archetype, the Aggro-Control, where you try to get some of the best creatures, the best colors in the format into play. You're getting a creature that is overpowered for its cost, and like the Serra and usually the 7 Alliance and Serra Angel, and trying to protect it with your counter magic and win the game through that. Also through a lot of card advantage with the Brain Geyser and the Yineblade Tombs and stuff like that, Ancestral Recall. This deck is fully powered, and yeah, the spicy element are those horses, just like my deck. Other than that, it's just a vicious pile of cardboard. Let's see its opponent. And this is the opponent of the Aggro-Control deck. It's black and red, and I've dubbed it the MetAtog. And the reason I'm doing that is because this deck has been tailored just to be as efficient as possible against our current meta, especially in our local play groups, where there's a lot of Arabian Nights and a lot of various colors. This guy, he playtexted this deck against just from home against a lot of the usual archetypes that we play within in our play groups. So it's only black and red, no blue power for it, and that might indicate that it's a bit softer, but it's really not. It means business. We have the 2 Cities in a Bottle main deck here, just to shut down the Arabian Night decks, the Arabian Zoo, my own deck, stuff like that. He has Blood Moon's main board and some of them in sideboard. Other than that, it's just very, very fast burn deck with Atogs, a lot of damage artifacts. We saw a deck resembling this in the Smash Atog archetype earlier. It's not the same player here. This guy is Peter. He's the guy behind one of the guys behind the Long Island Cup that's also featured on this channel, that series of tournaments. So yeah, he's the MetAtog has been geared against decks like this that he's against here, other common tier 1 decks. Try to burn the other guy out very, very fast, try to punish his control elements with all those black wises and Anks of Misra, so he can't really keep cards in hand, and if he tries to play land, he'll also take damage from the Ank of Misra. They can then be fed into the Atog afterwards. There's the sushis in there for more mid-range punch. Other than that, it's just burn away with fireballs, lightning bolts, stuff like that. Very fast, very focused. Doesn't require a lot of draw engine, it will rather try to punish the other guy for all his draw power. So very, very vicious matchup here. I have no idea what will happen. I think MetAtog might have the edge before sideboard because he doesn't play with Mesa Pegasus. This is just as brutal as it gets in this environment. But he even has the glooms in the sideboard I see here, so that will probably be very, very brutal against Aggro-Control, but who knows? I mean, Aggro-Control is a tier 1 deck. Even with those Pegasus, the mode will shut down this particular MetAtog deck, as he can't really remove enchantments and all his attack forces are ground based, so he can only burn the other guy out. So a mode from Aggro-Control would really help here after sideboard, but there are those glooms against him with the black wises. That's going to be brutal as well. Red blast as well. So we'll see. Let's get it on. I have MetAtog on the left here, and on the black dragon is Aggro-Control. And here's the hand of MetAtog. A couple of badlands, a couple of mountains, an Atog, a lightning bolt, and a chain lightning. So plenty of mana and some early removal. Here's the other hand. Serra be freed, Mox Jet, Mox Pearl, Mox Ruby, Underground Sea, Disenchant, and Brain Geyser. Very, very nice. He needs a second blue mana to get that Brain Geyser going though, but once he hits that, he can recuperate the lost cards immediately and get a lot of mana out. Very good hand. Badlands, and here are the Moxen from Aggro-Control. Oof, turn 1. Serra be freed. Turn 1 here. Yeah, a couple of bolts cracking down, removing it immediately. There was no other choice. He needed to do this before the other guy could untap. As a Mesa Pegasus. And the Demonic Tutor, very, very strong. Ancestral Recall, I imagine, would be the pick here. But I don't know. Aggro-Control is ahead now in cards already with those double-bolted, Serra be freed, and MetAtog was on the play as well. Okay, there's a Copper Tablet coming out and then a Atog. So the Copper Tablet will do a point of damage each turn. Yeah, cheers. People are getting a bit tipsy at this point. That's me just popping on by. I'm having a game as well on the other table, but there's a lot of glare there. Okay, attacking with the Mesa Pegasus, securing a point of damage for Aggro-Control here, then disenchanting the Copper Tablet. Waiting until the other guy takes the damage from the Copper Tablet, of course. A Mountain and a Fireball on the hand of MetAtog here, attacking with the Atog. Oh yeah, he can eat the Mox, and then even if he blocks with the factory, he'll kill the factory. Okay, Brain Geyser. Yeah. So that's 4 cards for Aggro-Control. He's well ahead, really pulling ahead here. Yeah, and MetAtog is actually controlling the hi-fi and the music at this point. So people are shouting for different soundtrack, different music tracks, and he has to put it on. Oh, that might be a bit confusing. You'll look into that telephone every once in a while. Atog coming over, followed up by a sushi. Okay, a lot of ground forces here from MetAtog. A very happy guy. And very drunk at this point. Okay, what do we have here? That's the Yimday Tomb. But so the aggression is on MetAtog. He needs to finish the game soon here because he's behind in so many cards. A lightning bolt and a fireball, so that might actually do it. He can attack and then, I suppose, sack the ruby and the sushi later on for 4 colorless mana. And then lightning bolt and fireball for a huge bunch here. There are 2 blue mana up on the Aggro-Control though, and he has just Brain Geysered for 4. So I imagine there's a counterspell, at least a counterspell in that hand of his. But needs to work fast here. Okay, Serra coming out. It won't stop the sushi, but it can force the Atog to eat the mocks. Put it on a strip mine, I think, but he changed it. Okay, more beer coming in. Just hammering away here. Okay, City of Brass coming down and the Serra to be freed. We need a City in a Bottle from MetAtog here. Okay, what does he have here? He has a fireball in hand. He could elect to fireball the Serra to be freed, or perhaps just keep that in hand and try to fireball the other guy. He is at 16 points of life. Coming over the sushi here. Okay, looks like a double block with the Mistress Factory and a Serra to be freed here. Bolting the factory, but it gets countered immediately. Okay, so the factory survives, and now there's a double block on the sushi. No, only the factory. Okay, double block, yeah, that makes sense. So the sushi will die now, unless he can pick what he kills. It chooses to kill the Serra to be freed. Trade with that. Suppose that makes sense. That gives it a good think. There are arguments to be had for both cases, because the Serra to be freed does damage. I see Atog, another attack. Serra to be freed does damage to his opponent, and he has that fireball in hand. But now he can't sack the sushi anymore to the Atog for the 4 colorless mana to make a huge fireball. And he has used a lightning bolt, so I suppose, yeah, and there's a balance getting rid of those Atogs. Looks like Aggro-Control, all the cards he has accumulated at this point, will perhaps secure him a victory here. Okay, he has to discard his counterspell after the balance. There's something else coming out here. Ooh, Armageddon. Okay, just resetting the entire board. Only a Mox Ruby is on. Okay, he drew into a Badlands though on the MetAtog, and look at that. He has the book and all the Moxen to just draw into more and more card advantage at this point. Just holding the MetAtog back, delaying. Okay, trying to mind twist one of his cards. It was just a plains here. Attacking with the factory. There's a lightning bolt and a fireball on the hand of the MetAtog, so you can actually burn that factory now, but it doesn't come over. He reads with the book instead. Playing a Felden's Cane here. It's a spicy choice for the deck. Okay, attacking with the factory, it gets bolted, so he loses his land, but he can still read in that book. Okay, that's crucial. A Badlands, another Badlands for MetAtog. He needs just 1 more mana and the sushi will hit the table. Okay, another miss of Pegasus here. Looks like a City in a Bottle he drew into MetAtog here. Okay, choosing to fireball. These guys, they know each other well. So this is just all in good fun. Okay, Black Lotus here. Ah, Serra Angel coming out. Okay, he's on the attack, and MetAtog has just used that fireball. He can play the sushi now, I suppose. He really needs to do that. Yeah, that's a soft Blanche on the hand of the Aggro-Control though. Okay, Serra Angel coming over, swinging that sword. Ooh, and a Sonic Blast on the sushi. Ouch. So he doesn't even gain the life from the soft plowshares that's in the hand of the Aggro-Control still. Drawing into an island. Just it just confuses him here. They're just so drunk, both of them. He made him discard his Serra Angel by making him think it was a spell. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, both two very, very spiky decks here, but they don't take it too seriously, these guys. Just having a good laugh and being, well, yeah, not entirely sober, I might add. Okay, factory coming down here. There's a city in a bottle. But it won't touch that Serra Angel though. Yeah. Reading with the book again, perhaps? No. Oh, he read just before, just at the end step of his opponent. Throwing into a box emerald, punching, poking with that Serra Angel. That's a shatter. That's game. Yeah. Time twist and disenchant in the hand of the Aggro-Control. But he wins this 1-0 against the lethal MetAtog. Well done, well done. So I suppose MetAtog had an early lead here, but he was behind in cards, having to double bolt the Serendipity defeat turn 1. And his aggression got slowly stopped, and then that balance followed with an Armageddon just reset the entire game, and delayed him so much that Aggro-Control could just pull ahead and get within and get within control range and just seal the game with that Serra Angel after the Armageddon. So I suppose the pivotal moment of that game was the balance and Armageddon. As Jaeger bombs they're drinking there. Yeah, so we see the sideboard here. MetAtog is putting in an Abyss, 3 Red Blasts and 3 Glooms, I think. And was this a couple of and 2 Maces of Ith as well. That's a lot of sideboard options. Most of them make sense, but I suppose he doesn't take the Maces of Ith in. No idea what Aggro-Control put in. I guess we'll see. This is round number 2. Can MetAtog pull through here? Doesn't have the blue power and the draw engine to gain control, so he needs to keep the other guy back with the Black Wises and then try to seal the game as fast as possible here. And MetAtog is on the play, mulliganing down to 6 cards here, trying to get the other guy to discard a card of his own, but he's not doing it. Okay, Mountain coming out here. Is there a Black Wise? No. What? Okay, he hasn't passed the turn yet. Second the Black Lotus, turn 1. Ooh, that's 2 Black Wises, turn 1. Black mana. The last 2 mana from the Black Lotus are black mana. He indicated that with the dice. And that's that. Demonic Tutor. Okay, wow. What a start here. Really, really good. But that's what Tog decks can do. Okay, so he has a single copper tablet in hand, just searching for a Mox Ruby, putting it down, and now he's ready. Okay, Silverstone coming out, taking 6 points of damage on Aggro-Control. And Aggro-Control, he's not a fan, that archetype is not a fan of Black Wises early on, because even though he has those Mox, and he doesn't have a lot of cheap cards, and he has a lot of reactive cards as well, like Sorcerer Plowshares and Counter Spells and Brain Guys and stuff like that, so that might be stuck in his hand for a while. Okay, drawing into a Badlands, doesn't really need that, but fair enough. Copper Tablet coming out, so doing damage to each guy each turn. Another viable option, I don't know, could have taken a Wheel of Fortune, but he didn't know that he would draw into so much mana. I'm not even sure he plays with the Wheel of Fortune, but I guess he should at least. Okay, so passing the turn, doing a bunch of damage to Aggro-Control. Probably around 5 points of damage all in all. We can see, passing the turn right back. What's that? That's a Gloom. That's incredibly mean. As a response, he can play the Disenchant before the Gloom takes effect, disenchanting one of the Black Wises, so now he only takes damage from a single Black Wise and also damage from the Copper Tablet, but that Gloom, man, to back up the Black Wise, it's brutal. Okay, Factory coming out. Oh, and then he forfeits the game. It's too much. So it's 1-1 here. Yeah, Aggro-Control couldn't do much here. Too much damage. Just a brutal start from MetAtog. This is the third and deciding round. Aggro-Control mulliganing down to 6 cards here. Deciding round of this set just at the end of the Swiss here. Tundra versus a mountain as the hand. Red Blast, Lightning Bolt, Atog, Badlands, Factory, a Gloom and a Chaos Orb. Okay, so he can protect himself and stop any power with that Red Blast. Bolt any small critters, get a Chaos Orb or an Atog out.
Turn 2.
And turn 3, the Gloom will hit the table and you can attack with the Factory protected by that Gloom. So, solid hand. Not as explosive and not as killy as the first handy or as a handy MetAtog had in the second round, but nothing to sneeze at either. So yeah, it's Aggro-Control's turn now. Playing down a second Tundra here, not a lot of steam. I wonder where all his Moxen are hiding in that deck of his. Okay, second round, so does he play the Chaos Orb or the Atog? Chooses to play Atog. Makes sense. It provides some early aggression. Doesn't need the Chaos Orb yet, it'll just be a target for a disenchant anyway. Serra coming out as a blocker here. They're pretty mean against a red deck like this because they require 2 bolts, but there were that Red Blast, so the question is, will he Red Blast the Serra or will he play the Gloom? Looks like a Red Blast. Okay, Red Blast in the Serra here. It is a bit of a dilemma here because he needs to work while the other guy is tapped out. Okay, putting down an Ank of Mishra at this point. Makes sense. He takes damage when he puts down any more lands here. Oh, wait a minute. No. Okay, he takes that back. Yeah, I don't know. A Gloom could be just as good here. It's more risky because if he Red Blasts now, the other guy knows he has a Red Blast. He can counter that Red Blast and protect his Serra. But in a way, I suppose he can. Okay, tapping out for an energy flux, so he mustn't have a counter spell in hand. Okay, yeah, there's a bunch of grills working outside in the garden. Just a bunch of guys making food for us. Just a bunch of the mates having brought over a ton of meat. So yeah, it's one of those evenings, you know. Okay, here he's Red Blasting the Serra. And the other guy's tapped out, so no Blue Blast either. So I suppose the Gloom was the correct pick here. He can also defend his Chaos Orb and his Ank of Mishra against a disenchant, because the other guy will require 5 points of mana now just for a single disenchant. Should probably use the Chaos Orb now on that Energy Flux if he wants to. Yeah, that's the Long Island Cup logo right there. And as I said, Peter on the left here, he is one of the creators of the Long Island Cup. Him and his brother Morten, that are both featured on this channel from time to time. On the right is Martin on Aggro-Control. So Mox Pearl here now has 5 points of mana. He can actually disenchant at this point. He can disenchant the Gloom if he has one. I think he perhaps should, or he could disenchant the Chaos Orb, I suppose. He could do that, wait for that as well. Okay, at his end step, he activates the Chaos Orb. I think that is a mistake. He should have done that while the other guy was tapped out. Yeah, so now he can be disenchanted. Minor mistake. You would usually use a Chaos Orb at the end step of the opponent, but this is one of those situations where it's not the best play. It would have been better to do it straight away. But 5 points of mana for a disenchant, that is expensive. Attacking with the Factory and the Atog here. And there is that Energy Flux. So the Black Lotus and as an Ank of Mishra, it will cost in his upkeep, but he can actually sack them to the Atog in the upkeep instead of paying, and the Atog will just grow. Okay, so Aggro-Control really needs to draw some removal here. He's on the back foot. And okay, trying to answer that Gloom. I was just about to say that the Gloom will hold him back a bunch with his removal, but trying to at least annoy the other guy with all his artifacts. Okay, so he elects to keep the Ank of Mishra, pay for it with the Black Lotus, and it's probably just to punish the other guy if he puts down any lands, because the other guy will need a lot of lands against that Gloom. Just to pay for the Gloom tax. And then he attacks with the factory and the Atog again for 3 points of damage. And another more music is coming up from that phone right there. Okay, Serra coming out. Now we can start to block some of those critters. Being a 12 point of life, Aggro-Control, could this be the point, another pivotal point of the game where he will regain control? That's the question. Okay, sacking the Ankh of Mishra. I hope he aided with the Atog, as he can do that. Oh, fireballing the 70 that's a brutal punch. He's on a roll. Now coming over. Okay. I think the Atog didn't grow too much there. I think he only gave a single point of damage. Fair enough. He could have sacked the Ankh of Mishra to it. Then it would have been slightly bigger. Never mind. Another attack. Those critters. There's a copper tablet. Chain lightning him. Okay, there's a victory dance here. It is a pretty important game, this one. It's just before the top 8. So, and they're, as said, they know each other well. They're teasing each other a lot. And both spiky decks going for the win here. Factory coming over, Atog coming over. He's down to 1 point of life. He can sack whatever he wants here. Never mind, he lightning bolts him. That's game. He actually had a red. Circular protection red. If he had played that, I could have stopped, I suppose, the Atog, but not the factory. The combination, if he could have played the moat, if he had, I don't know if he had sideboarded the moat, but as said, if he had played the moat and a circular protection red, it would really shut down MetAtog so much here. You could only do damage to him with the black vices then, and the Ankhs of Mishra and copper tablets. Okay, Peter is showing off some of Martin's new cards here. Oh yeah, Martin has started to collect these artists' altars here. There's a brilliant white knight on that strip mine. It just came in the mail here for Martin's deck. There's a plane there. Triplane on the plains. Anyway, that's it. MetAtog won this game 2-1 at the tail end of the Swiss. Just overwhelming the blue and white Aggro-Control deck. I kind of feel like it could have gone both ways in that game 3. As the Aggro-Control doesn't need a lot of time in order to gain control, but MetAtog made it work. Just too much damage to handle early on. Just poking the other one down with lightning bolts and then like paralyzing him with that gloom so that he couldn't remove them fast enough, all those that Atog and that Mistress Factory, and then he came within burn range and got burned out at the end. So yeah, that's it for this particular matchup. We'll continuing in the final rounds of the Swiss from another table, and then we'll see who'll get into the top 4 of this tournament, where the final battle will ensue for the first prize. So thank you for watching. I'm signing off and hope to see you next time.